Never let it be said that there's a dull day in VR, because each day something new is happening, and one of my favourite games ever, Dying Light, has now got a VR mod. And I know most of you clicked on this video because you want to see what that mod is actually like in VR, especially if you've already clicked on the guy's Patreon and realised he wants $10 for you to access this mod. Now, after everything that happened with Luke Ross, you'd think some people might have learned that that's probably not a good idea. The guy making this is actually a VR game developer, so I want to be fair to him, because I think this isn't just some random guy who's discovered AI yesterday and decided to start charging people. And technically, he hasn't created Dying Light VR from scratch either. Dying Light actually had an abandoned Oculus VR supported mode buried inside the game for years. All you need to do is type Oculus enabled in the game script files, and if you want to know how to do that, I'll leave you a link to my old Dying Light video. Simply just head to the end and you'll see how to do it. So you don't need to download any mods to play this game in VR, but you will just be sitting there looking at the game with a VR headset in VR but playing with the controller. So what's this developer done any different? It looks like he's restored and repaired the abandoned Oculus implementation, and then he's added his own custom software on top of it to give us things like 6-DoF motion controls. So now we have got physical melee attacks, two-handed weapons, menu navigation, lock picking, swimming, cutscene behavior, recentering, and a load of other VR specific things. But my biggest issue is I haven't really been able to test much of this game because it just keeps crashing. I have an existing save which I managed to play for about an hour, but that too crashed later on, and in the beginning of the game after about an hour it crashed again. So unfortunately I can't test most of the things that this mod is claiming to do. But one thing I did want to get across is I do not believe you should pay for this mod as it is right now. It feels incredibly early, and I will explain my full experience with this mod in a second. And I also want to be a little bit more critical because we are paying for it. It's not a free VR mod on GitHub that the community will rally around and try and help make better. This guy actually wants money for you to access it, and we've got no idea when and if it's going to be improved over time. Now on to the exciting bit, which I'm really pleased to report on, is that this game absolutely does deliver a very cool 6-DoF motion controlled experience. Having an actual body and being able to physically move your arms inside Dying Light is actually incredible. But this isn't suddenly Dying Light rebuilt as a native modern VR game, and I know some people don't like VR mods because of things I'm about to say. You can't just reach out and grab things in the world. You've still got to do key presses or press a button just to pick something up. For example, you can't grab ledges when you're trying to jump. So basically, in between the moments of actually swinging an item to hit a zombie, your arms are literally just hanging by your sides. So if you've got a fantasy in your head that you're going to be physically climbing around Haran, like something out of the climb or grabbing everything in the environment, that simply isn't the case. But the physical melee attacks do work, but at the moment they do require a very hefty swing to make this register. And when I say hefty, I actually didn't believe this game worked that way, because when I first started playing it, I was swinging my arms and there was no hit detection at all, and I kind of thought maybe he was trying to ride the lightning of the Cyberpunk mod. But to be fair to this guy, the mod does actually work, and you can hit the enemy and you can hit the environment, but it just doesn't feel quite right, you know, because you really have to swing your arms regardless. And I feel like I'm swinging harder than the guy swinging in the game, but you can still pull the right trigger in the normal way if you don't want to swing your arms. The way he's got the menus to work in this game is a little bit of a pain in the ass. You have to sort of hold the right trigger and click the right stick, and they just don't feel very good, to be honest. And then there's the graphics, and it doesn't matter what settings I put this game on, and it's basically on the highest settings all the time, it just doesn't look very good. You know, it looks all right, it looks passable, but it's not as good as I want it to look, because I think Dying Light is actually a really good looking game. We definitely got some jaggies from aliasing, which I can't get rid of, by the way, and I found this actually run and looked a lot better with 120 Hz. But despite all of the stuff I've just said, purely in terms of immersion, this is probably the best experience I've had playing Dying Light in VR so far. But that's considering how it was before. I still wouldn't call this a brilliant VR experience, but it is the best Dying Light VR experience, because now it does have proper 6-DoF motion controls and you physically have a body. And if you're excited about this, I completely understand why you are. But my problem is this is way too early to be monetized. I'm not against people earning money for their time and work. I actually believe you should be compensated if you put in the time and effort into something. But at the moment, I don't want to be a guinea pig, and I don't believe the community should be used as guinea pigs to basically be on like some sort of rolling subscription service of $10 a month, hoping that one day, maybe 6 months down the line, when you've paid $60, that you finally have a VR mod you're happy with. I would actually prefer that the developer makes it free at the moment, gets lots of playtesting feedback, and then when everyone gets to a point where they're kind of happy with where the VR version is, then maybe he can open up for donations. But I just don't believe these mods should be paywalled, especially when it's in the state it's in now. People are going to pay $10 and end up finding a pretty broken VR mod. There is no smooth turning either, which for me was a massive negative, because I absolutely love smooth turning. I find snap turning very unimmersive for most things, but I dealt with it because I wanted to test this mod out to either say to you guys, yes, pay $10, or no, don't pay $10. And to be fair, I was never going to tell you to pay $10 anyway. I do believe supporting someone making something is worthwhile. So I hope that the developer changes his mind and turns this into like a donation versus a paywall to get access to Dying Light VR mod, and the community can give him feedback and help him make it good in the future, because there's something here, you know, there is something here. It's much more immersive, and I look forward to seeing how it progresses. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you to everyone who watches this video and leaves a like and subscribes, and I'll see you on the next one.